Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another brand new video, and we're back inside of AnimeDefenders. And in this one, I'm going to be showing you the top new best meta units that you guys need to use, and how you can make your team really strong by using traits and spirits. So pretty much I'm going to be telling you guys what the best units right now in the meta are, and what the best traits on them are, the best spirits, and how you guys can craft the perfect leaderboard team, or just pretty much make a really strong overall team so you can complete anything like any Tower of Eternity, any raid, Hall of Mirrors. But real quick before we start, if you haven't already and don't enjoy the video, make sure to leave a quick like, comment, subscribe, and join my Discord server in the description below. After this video, I'm going to be giving away 100,000 gems and another 100k on the next one, and maybe even 1 million gems soon, so be tuned for that. And do join my Discord server down below. And also 97% of you guys are not subscribed, and it is free and does support the channel, so I really appreciate it. And now let's get started. Alright, so firstly starting off, we're going to be going with Egris. So we got the Cursed Knight right here, my boy Egris. He is really strong. He has a high DPS, definitely in one of the top 5 units. He has decently expensive, as if we come over here, we can see the cost, it's only 2,250, not too much compared to some other units. And he also has an ability which can rain down swords, which is really strong inside of leaderboard runs, as you can just make them aim to the bosses, and if it only targets the boss, it does a lot more damage, and he is really strong. And obviously he is a 2 placement, so Almighty is the best trait to put on him. As you can see, plus 2.8 times damage, plus 15% cooldown, 10% range, and 1 placement cap. So Almighty is the best trait. And if you come over here for the spirits, the best spirit is True Spirit, as True Spirit is going to be the best one on all of the units. As you can see, it can deal up to 1.7x more damage, which is kind of insane, I'm not gonna lie. But apart from True Spirit, Divine is really good, as what it does is it makes enemies go backwards. That is really efficient in leaderboard runs, as you get more time to complete more waves, and that is really good when you're trying to go for the leaderboard, as you can complete more waves and hence get on the leaderboard. So that is really good. And also Crystal is really good on him. Here it is, increases damage dealt to bosses by 50%. So Crystal is going to be really good for leaderboard runs, as well as in high waves. You can see the bosses have crazy amounts of health. It's also in like 200 million health and so on, so you will need more damage dealers to the bosses specifically. So Crystal is also really good on him, but obviously True and Divine Spirit is going to be the best one. He is also limited, so you can't get him anymore, and you can only trade for him right now in the trading hub. Okay, next up we got Gojo, or the Rift Sorcerer. Now he is a really meta unit, and he's needed for Tower of Eternity, for Infinites, or anything, as he is the second highest DPS in the game, and he's really cheap for his DPS. Not gonna lie, he's probably the cheapest compared to the DPS, and he is a slow unit as well, with a huge range compared to some other units, and he is really good. So again, Almighty is the best trait on him. He's a 2 placement. And for spirits, obviously True Spirit is good on him as well. And Ice is also really good, because since he is a slow, this increases the slow duration by 30%, so that's really useful in my opinion. Obviously every single spirit is good in its own way on a specific unit, but some can be used on different units like Divine and True Spirit. But for this, I think Ice will be really useful. And just like Egris, he's also limited, so you will have to buy it from the trading hub. Next we got the Pro Gamer, or Sun Jinwoo. Here he is, looking all cool. So he becomes a full AoE by 2nd upgrade, which is pretty wild, I'm not gonna lie. And he's the best to spin from banner in my opinion right now, because he is really expensive in the trading plaza due to inflation, and it's way more worth to just spinning from the banner. And he is not on banner right now. He's gonna be between Demon King, Hakari, and himself, so you can either find him in the banner or you can find him in the trading hub. But I would recommend summoning him from the banner, and he is really good, because he spawns the enemies as your allies from the home base, or from where the enemies are going towards. So pretty much they're going to be fighting for you, and he is really good for infinite runs. He is really strong. Again, Almighty is the best trait on him. He's a 2 placement. And for the spirits, True Spirit and Divine Spirit is really good. And maybe even Storm Spirit is good, as it decreases the cooldown, so you can spawn more people over time. But anyways, he is a really good meta unit right now, and he can be used for Infinites, Tower of Eternity, and he is really useful, so I do recommend get him, as to make the perfect team you will need him. And in the new update 4, they have added 3 new portals. So we got the Demon Overlord Secret, which is from the Demon Portal. He's not really good, so avoid him. Then we got the Cursed Berserker. I'm not quite sure what his name is. He's actually Guts, and he's not that strong either. But we have Dragon Mage right here. He is the highest damage dealing unit in the game. As you can see, it's only level 38 for me. He's doing 36,000 damage base form. Yeah, he's insane, I'm not gonna lie. So he does 300,000 damage when he's max level with Almighty, which is really crazy, I'm not gonna lie. And his abilities are really good. He becomes full AoE on the last upgrade, which makes him really strong. And he also has an ability which is a huge AoE, so really good unit. But one issue is he is really expensive. As you can see, 5,000 to just place him down. So he's the most expensive unit in the game. And the only issue is, if you're using him in any portals or Tower of Eternity, he's not that good because he's so expensive that his DPS isn't as good compared to his cost. But if you're doing leaderboards, high base, I definitely recommend getting him. He's the top damage dealing unit, and he's really good. So he's also the hardest portal unit to get, so it's gonna take a while to get him. But the best trait on him is Almighty, and the best spirit is True and Divine. But the Crimson Spirit is also really good because he is a burn unit, so it increases the burn damage by 50%, which is really useful on him. And definitely he's a must have because he is really strong. Okay, so moving onwards to some support units, we got these exclusive wish units, and all of them are meta support. So firstly, we got Legion Veteran right here, and she can buff the range by other units by 20%. Now this can be really useful on Gojo, Sun Jinwoo, or obviously Dragon Mage, because they become full AoE at a certain point. And if you buff the range by the AoE, then you can cover more distance, and that is really useful on high waves in the leaderboard runs, because you do need more range to cover more distance on strong enemies. So she is really good to be a support. And also we got Legion Assassin right there, and it buffs the critical chance of units by 20%, so that's also really good because critical chance is way more DPS than the normal damage. And he is a pretty good support, I'm not gonna lie. So a decent team can be made up of 4 high DPS units, either 2 support or 1 support and 1 money making unit, but it's up to you. You can even have 6 damage dealers. In a leaderboard team, you can have 2 people who are full DPS and maybe 2 people who are half DPS and half support. So those 2 are really good support as well. And we also got Legion Captain or Legion Commander right over there. She is just like Sun Jinwoo, and she summons soldiers as your allies. And she also has a laser ability, which is really wild. I'm not gonna lie, her range is like 80 with Bullseye, I'm pretty sure. So she's kind of cracked, and she does good DPS as well. So she can be considered a meta unit maybe if you want to use her, because her ability is really insane, and it's like a huge laser beam which has insane range. So she does like 100k damage with Almighty and max level, so you can use her if you want. She is a decent meta unit, but she's not as good as compared to the other DPS units. And then obviously next up we got my boy Shadow Dragon. He can be considered a DPS unit. His DPS is kind of decent, to be fair, not that bad. But he also buffs range by 25% and decreases the cooldown by 15%. That is a really OP buff by just 1 unit, and 100% you need him on your team. He's a really insane support, and with Almighty, he can also be a decent damage dealer and really strong. And moving onwards with the money making units, we firstly got Pink Rockstar. So you just place her down, and every round she makes you some money. She also has an ability to buff units on the damage, so she's really good. The best trait on her is Midas Touch, and the best spirit is Golden, 20% more money. She's the second best money making unit, and she is really good as she buffs units as well and makes a ton of money, so I do recommend having her. And the next one we got is Pink Demon Witch. And now basically what she does is, when you pop her ability, she sucks the souls of the enemies in her range, and the number of enemies there are, she'll convert that into money. And now she's not really that good when you have a bunch of units placed down that kill the enemies fast, because there'll be less units to suck the souls from and obviously make less money. So in that criteria, I'd recommend using Pink Rockstar, as she would be really useful. But obviously if you're doing Tower of Eternity or maybe raids, maybe even Hall of Mirrors, she can be really useful. And the best trait on her is Midas Touch with the Golden Spirit. And yeah, that was it for the high damage dealing secrets, but some of you don't really have a lot of secrets. So firstly, for mythicals, a really good mythical is Bear King, and you get him by coming over here to the raids. And once you're here, you just come over here to the raid shop, and it's closed right now, but it's gonna have Bear King as a unit, and he is a 4 placement, being a bleed unit, and he becomes a full AoE, which is really good for a mythic. He also has a decent DPS, and since he is a 4 placement, the best trait on him is Requiem, and the best spirit is the True and Divine Spirit, and also the Crimson, because it increases the bleed damage by 50%, really strong. And overall, he is one of the best mythics in the game, and I definitely recommend getting him if you don't have a lot of secrets. And next up, we got Natsu. He's a burn unit, and he deals 24.9k damage when he's maxed out. And the best trait on him obviously is Requiem, because he's a 3 or 4 placement, and True Spirit is really good, and also Crimson is good because he is a burn unit. Crimson is really efficient for bleed and burn units. And yeah, that'll be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe below. In this one, I told you guys some of the best meta units that you guys need to use, and some supports which are really useful. Pretty much every single support right there is really useful, and you can even mix it in with a money unit, 1 support and 4 high DPS units. But yeah, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.